And I am alive. Welcome to this new discussion, this new review of a movie. This time around, this is a movie made by Sam Raimi. Yes, the guy behind Multiverse of Madness, the guy behind Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man in the 2000. He is back with a new flick. This time around, it is a horror flick, a horror thriller survivor. With that being said, let's get into it. As usual, the first part is really the plot and the distribution. Everyone involved in the project and the kind of money it made. Let's get into it. So, this is the wiki page of that movie. Let's get into it. So, we will start by saying the following thing. Sam Raimi is producer of that movie. So he has a lot of creative control. Or I should say, no, he's not producer. Oh, yeah, he's producer. Sorry about that. I got things mixed up. So it was directed and produced by Sam Raimi. So he was heavily involved in most important aspect of making this movie. It was written by Damien Shannon, Mark Swift. It was also produced by Zainab Azizi. I guess that's Sam Raimi student. I don't know. Let's get into the actors involved. Rachel McAdams. That name is quite familiar to me. Unfortunately, I can't remember where I have seen her in the past. Um, the next name is Dylan O'Brien, Adil Ismail, Xavier Samuel, and Chris Payne. And the last name listed is Denny Dexter Abert. Cinematography by Bill Pope. Edited by Bob Mowaski. Music by Danny Elfman. Production company Raimi Production. So you can already tell and know this movie is far more a Sam Raimi movie than Multiverse of Madness. Shots fired. I still enjoyed that movie a lot. Anyway, let's get into the distribution company being 20th Century Studios. They just did a very big name, I'd say. Released date January 21st, 2026 at TCL Chinese Theater. January 30 in United States and Canada, because right now it is in Canada. The running time is 115 minutes, so that's an hour and 45 minutes. Amazing. An hour and 55 minutes. I suck at maths. Country United States. Language English. Budget 40 million. Box office 28.1 million. Now, right after the distribution, if you have been around, you know what comes next. The plot, and I made it a very short and sweet and simple, and there's no spoiler whatsoever right now in the plot, but I will give you warnings once we get into the meat, into the review. A loyal and good employee goes to a business trip with the unbearable and merciless boss. Their plane crashes, leaving them on an island, having to survive bad weather and harsh living conditions. So, quite simple premise. Now, this is the big warning. I will spoil the entire thing. So, if you have not seen the movie, click off the video and come back later. Now you are advised. I will spoil the entire thing. Let's get into it. So I strongly believe this movie was very, very fun to watch. Let's get into the why. The action and the gore were great. And, like, they found a great way to make sure the unbearable boss doesn't simply steamroll the poor employee by breaking the boss leg. And he was injured for most of the movie. And they also made him quite inept or incompetent on the island, and that's by design. This way, he relies so much on her. It's like a role reversal, which is very fun. And I can't believe I'm saying that right now, and I didn't mark it down on letterboxd. But anyway, I guess that's the point of having a review here. Now, the next thing to enjoy. Both leads trying to end each other's lives to remain YouTube friendly made very entertaining dynamic. So it's like, the moment you sleep, I will snap your neck. But it's more creative than that. At some point, it's hinted that the boss wants to poison her and then leave her on the island to die, and he wants a boat and such. He fails because he didn't use enough toxic berries, which was very interesting. Um, and at another point, she also poisoned him, telling him, "Me too, I can do that. We can play this game together." It's just very interesting. The dark humor in this movie is priceless. Now, the next thing to enjoy. Nice characterization. The lonely, dedicated, and loyal employee turns out to be the most socially awkward. And she's a survivor because she spends days with her bird watching Survivor show. So her characterization made sense. And they needed her to be competent on that island. So she actually survives. And again, it's for the guy to rely on her. So the guy just doesn't snap her neck in the first 20 minutes. So I think it all makes sense. The next thing to say is nice characterization. The obnoxious boss didn't get the proper parental love he needed to be an healthy adult. His playing stupid was simply a facade. He has been ended things, yet still wants to work. It's a complex character. And the more I think about the movie, the more I need to mention that. This movie reminded me of another movie I adore, Triangle of Sadness. It came out 3 years ago, actually 4 years ago already. It's been that long. But basically the premise is they go on a cruise, the cruise goes wrong, and they all wash up to an island. A little bit like Saint Elp, but Triangle of Sadness is a pure comedy, while here it's a dark comedy because there's lots of dark humor, and it's also a horror flick right now, while Triangle of Sadness isn't. But there are parallels where the lady is the smart and powerful person that's adapted to the environment, which is very fascinating. Now, I will admit this. I have no issues with Saint Elp. None. Nada. But there's the thing. I feel like it's a worse take on what Triangle of Sadness did. And I still love both movies. Don't get me wrong. I think Saint Elp is a great movie. I highly recommend. But I just think Triangle of Sadness, which is a very similar movie, despite being very different genres, similar movies, they just did it better. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. That's the truth. They did it better. Anyway, let's keep going on that review of Saint Elp. Contrast between both leads. One is socially well-rounded and adapted. The other wasn't. One was ended nothing, but was working really hard to get anything, aka the chick, the lady, the main character. The other was ended everything. The next thing is both characters share values. Their lives turned them into monsters. They also lied and told half-truths to each other throughout the entire movie. The humor was amazing. Each reveals were great. When L broke loose, the more competent becomes the natural leader. The boss may be a great corporation person, rewind, but in the world, he wasn't adapted enough. Therefore, the leading character became the natural leader. Nice idea how the lead looked much older, so either she lied about her age or her challenging past sped up her aging process. And I think this is great attention to detail because at some point they mentioned her having 30 years old. I didn't really research the age of the actress, but I wouldn't be surprised if she is in her 40s or maybe even her 50s. Um, you know what? Because I still have the wiki page right now, I will actually click on Rachel McAdams. I was right. She's in her 40s, almost 50s, so she's well preserved. She has two kids. Yeah, I think she was really well casted. I think casting was stellar. And again, that's another thing I didn't mark down in my review for some reason. The next thing to mention, nice that the lead liking your life on the island made sense. She actually mattered a lot more in that island than she did at the office. The movie was great at showing overtelling. In most instances, the movie was great when it came to showing how disgusting the boss was. Like stealing her work. Because she did all of the heavy lifting and he just stole it, literally. Like, he took away the post-it. He didn't really respect the will of his father by giving her a VP position. Just said F it. And that guy is also a control freak. Um, and yeah, the music was amazing. The control freak boss losing control was amazing. The lead empathy and compassion being put to test made sense, and her breaking down mentally made also sense. I mean, this is a fractured, a broken person that experiences even more trauma on that island. And at first, she is genuinely a good person, but that experience on that island just brought back the worst in her. And that's another thing I didn't mark down in my review. And the past is blurry, where she kind of let the husband die, and because they don't really show you the story and they only tell you, maybe there's more to it. It's up to interpretation, which is great. Now I must tell you this. This is the point where I'm saying that my grade for Send Help is a 10 out of 10. It officially has entered my top 10 movie ever. Highly recommend. Send Help will be known as a classic, I'm sure. It will be remembered the way Triangle of Sadness is. And it kind of breaks my heart because it took a Nora spot right now. And I love so much Nora, but I just feel like I would plug in Send Help over Nora. And I still love Nora a lot, but Send Help just it just connected so much with me. Maybe it's because I'm in a different state of mind now than I was when Nora came out. I don't know, but I maybe it's the recency bias that some people mentioned, but Send Help is amazing. It's a wonderful movie. It's dark, it's gore, it's violent. So if you're not really into horror, maybe not watch it. I'm a bit late to saying that, but here we are. Now, the next segment of this mainstream movie review is the Rottentomato to decide to see if I am crazy or if other people agree. Am I crazy? That's the screen share. Let's look into it. Screen share, screen share, screen share. Screen share. Where are you? There you are. Okay, the usual thing, the first four critique and the first four users. So the first critique, Send Help. If you can stomach it, is a delight. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. That's true. As a little something to keep everyone on their toes, which is amazing. And is led by two great performances. That's true. I agree with that 100%. The next one, You're watching Creative Kismet. Raimi gets the most out of Macadam's performance. He knows how to frame her and how to make her feel fabulous while splashing buckets of blood at her. Um, yeah, that's kind of cool. And when they were hunting, when she was hunting, that was something else. Like the first hunt she had was amazing. I can't believe I didn't say that in the review, but the first time she was hunting the boar was like violent. Again, if you can stomach it, you can stomach it. Send Help is a gross but glorious good time. Ah, that's true. I agree. A hilarious, unnerving, and suspenseful game of cat and mouse told in classic Sam Raimi fashion. I can see what? I can see what? B plus. So that's the only one that has an actual score I can see. So let's take a look to the audience. Stephen M. Verified. It was different and not your usual plot. New and refreshing plot with twists and turns, which was totally unexpected. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, whatever you call it. Sarah, good jump scares and dark humor. Unexpected, but I did like it. Both Rachel and Dylan did amazing, amazing. So that's a 7-ish out of 10. That's like 3 stars and a half. I can see it. I can see it, folks. I can see it. The next up is Victoria D with a verified thing. It was very suspenseful and got me jumping a few times. Something different and very entertaining. I'd recommend it. Joshua D, amazing movie, extremely entertaining, with another 10 out of 10. So I'm not crazy. So many other people liked it. I am not surprised. It's a great flick, and for once I'm right. I'm not crazy. I wish we had other people talking about that movie, maybe in the future. But with that being said, this is the outro. I enjoyed talking about that movie. I enjoyed the movie. I cannot wait to see more movies from 2026. I think 2026 is up a great start. I think at that point last year I had seen a lot more recent movie. That's why maybe I have that bias, but I do think 2026 has a better start than 2025 when it comes to new movies. But again, maybe it's just because the quantity and the number of movies I've seen from this year is not as high as last year, because right now I'm watching TV shows and I started gaming again here and there. So it's just not the same landscape as last year. Last year I was just watching movies all the time. Anyway, this is the outro. What next to the channel? Well, in a few minutes, we will have a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond stream. Hopefully, I can defeat that final boss. Outside of that, well, politics once again. Maybe not this week, but next week. Thursday, we talk about Fallout. We finished the season discussion with the dragon. With that being said, thank you for watching. See you soon and take care. Have a great one.